problems that come. And we have seen catastrophically a significant continuing high suicide rate among our veterans. It's a disgrace. Now, people keep talking about this. I talk about it. All the candidates would talk about it. I'm just going to tell you, as Americans, we cannot let these politicians fail to deliver this. I don't care how the heck they do it. They need to do it. And the VA is too big. The bureaucracy has, when I say too big, it's too bureaucratic. You call down there, you're on the phone, it takes you 2 days to talk to anybody. So we have to what we call restructure. We got to get the best minds to figure out how to make that organization flatter and more responsive to the needs of the people who serve us in the military. Now let me give you another thing you're not going to like to hear. If you take all the military contractors and all the people who work in the Pentagon, who perform bureaucratic functions, there are more people, Ron, weren't you on armed services? There are more people working in the bureaucracy and in the defense industry than there are active military today. Can you believe that? And we say we want to put more money in the military. I'm all for it. But where's the money going to go? If the money's not going to go to the frontline soldiers, we got to rethink the whole thing. And it's just amazing to me that it has gotten that bureaucratic. And this is the 21st century. Cut the rules, cut the regulations, reduce the bureaucracy, and get the resources to the people who fight the wars. That's what happens. Wrap this up with one thing that I want all, particularly the young people, to hear. We have a lot of challenges in the world, but the challenges can be dealt with, but let me tell you what the fundamental one is. There are people out there, in these radical organizations that would just as soon blow us up in this beautiful hall as have us live, because we actually dared to have women come in here and to go to school. These radical Islamists. Now look, this idea that we're going to have a religious test and we're not going to let Muslims come in the country is stupid. The idea that we're going to surveil the neighborhood. So here's why I say that. Here's why I say it. If you want to find out what's going on in a mosque, okay, if there's somebody being radicalized in a mosque, sir, you look like a pretty good guy. How close do you think you'd get to the mosque before they would see you coming? Yes. So we want to find out, because you see, Islam their faith has been hijacked. And we have a group of radicals in this world that have to be destroyed. We can't tolerate them. We can't negotiate with them. They have to be destroyed. I hate to say it, but it's true. And we're going to have to go in the air and on the ground with our Arab Muslim friends, along with Europe and our military, in the air and on the ground, and we've got to destroy ISIS. There's no two ways we can do this. And the longer we wait, the more complicated it's going to get, and the administration keeps doing things piecemeal, and that won't work either. But then beyond that, the civilized world has to come together to work together to do joint intelligence and policing, so we know where these crazy people are. And we cannot fool around any longer. I mean, we see that in Brussels, they knew that there was a radical coming their way, and nobody told anybody. And a lot of people died as a result. Here in our country, we have joint terrorism task forces. They're made up of the FBI and Homeland Security. And you see this gentleman standing here, state and local law enforcement. They are great. They are excellent. And their job is to disrupt. And the biggest problem they have are two things. Homegrown terrorists. It's interesting, we saw it here. I was just talking to somebody from Oklahoma. We saw it there. Homegrown terrorists and also the lone wolf. Somebody wants to go on their own. What we learned from San Bernardino is two things. One, the neighbor saw something crazy going on and didn't tell anybody. Pick up the phone, would you? And the second thing is, the father saw the radicalization of the son. As tough as that is, you see trouble, you got to report it. And they got to make sure they have the money and that they have the tools. And that's why this issue of encryption is so important. But we also don't want to turn over to the government the key to get into all of our lives. If you don't trust the government in a lot of things, why would you trust them to snoop into your life? So there has to be rules and protection for all of us. It's a balance in life. And we, as the United States, we have to rebuild our military because the Russians and the Chinese are aggressively built. I think the Chinese are going to have, I think it's like 20 or 25 new seaports. Well, you know, we're going to have 6. So, you know, on a numerical basis, it's a cause to take a good look. But we have to be strong, and we have to lead. And sometimes people say, oh my God, why do we do all this? Well, let me talk to you about your families.